Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday morning and happy birthday to all those beautiful babies that were born this glorious day we've been given. Happy birthday. And, if you're 193 going on 194, we really need to have you on this program, okay? Because you're a miracle and, they haven't had that age since the days of the Old Testament of the Bible. So, anyways, good morning to everybody. We had a long show last night, over 2 hours. So I'm kind of dragging my feet this morning. So I got a few minutes late start. So, but hey, at least I'm here. That's one good thing. As my wife reminded me this morning, my beautiful, lovely Tracy, she said that, your birthday's coming up in a few days. I don't know if that was a hint to say I'm getting older, but God love her. Anyways, I guess I am getting old. Let's get this FBI warning out of the way here and a few other notifications and stuff. And there's a couple announcements I want to go over before we get started into it. While we're waiting for Dennis. Let's see. Warning. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, and exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, and video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of copyright holder. This is called the fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe upon copyright under Section 17 U.S.C. subsection 107 of the Fair Use Act. Furthermore, Nighthawk High Strangeness podcast channel and aka William Nighthawk and all the podcasts on the channel do claim and declare fair use of any and all content, that's any and all content, to be used for the sole purpose of informing you, the viewing family, of information for educational purposes and general knowledge only, per Title 17 U.S.C. subsection 107 of the Fair Use Act. Okay. All right. I think we got everything covered. Our music that we use on the podcast are through the apps called UCut. It's called UCut app and it's called Splice app. And they are both really, really good apps and they're really, really free. And free is always, especially today's economy. So that being said, let me get to the announcements and stuff. And I got to read the other thing before I can let the crap show begin. Let's see here. Where is it? Come on. All right. Disclaimer. Echo. Anything that I show, discuss, or showcase on this channel, Nighthawk High Strangeness podcast channel, is what I do or how I do or feel about things. And it's, not just me, but it's myself and I too. You must remember to do your own research and decide for yourself if what you see and hear on this platform is right for you, as only you can decide for yourself. Boy, that's kind of a conundrum there. I got to get rid of that. I am not a financial advisor. Thank God for that. You don't want me financing your stuff, okay? Trust me. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an engineer or a professional of any kind. Well, that's kind of an insult, a professional of any kind, you know. Well, I guess I am amateurish. So, all I offer are ideas that you can draw from and a bit of entertainment. More like a lot of entertainment and a bit of ideas to draw from. Thank you guys and God bless. All right. Let me get that. Oh, I got choked up over that. See what you guys are doing to me. I'm getting old. All right. Anyways, let's see here. We're going to get into all kinds of goodies today. Last night's conversation kind of left half on, half off, with trying to connect everything that's been going on here lately. So I don't know. We're going to go ahead. We're going to do a couple announcements, and I'm going to go over a few different things, and we'll go from there. So here's the first announcement. East Coast Bigfoot Research Organization, Virginia Bigfoot Con 2023. The starting lineup. Are we ready for this? Starting lineup is none other than the Turtle Man. The Turtle Man. Okay. So that is that's quite a person there. Then we got Ed Brown, Rick Reels, Zach Starrick, Zach Bales, good friend, B. Mills, awesome speaker, and Mike Fairmont. All very good speakers, okay? And, you know, if I can get my truck to pass inspection and get the brakes done on it and the serpentine belt done on it, Tracy and I will be there. So it depends on if I can get the money together to do that. So, but that's June 17th, 2023 in Wires Cave, Virginia. Okay. It's always a good time. Always a good time going to that thing. We've gone to it every year. Basically, well, I mean, it's not since it started, but pretty close. So, but it's always a good time. You know, we get to see some of our extended family there too, like Dave and Melissa, and you know, Mr. You know who I'm talking about, Daniel Benoit, and you know, several others. So, yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. Then I got my other brother from my West Virginia mother, Dave Spink's World of Weird, Monster Con 2023. Now, you know, Dave is awesome. He is literally like a brother of mine. You know, and Serenity Jenny is like a sister to me, and Tracy, she's awesome. And I'm telling you, if anybody needs any energy work or spirit work or whatnot, Serenity Jenny is the one to talk to, because she is she's phenomenal. Okay. Very, very good. But they're going to be talking. Then we got Stan the Man Gordon that's going to be there. Stan the Man Gordon. Dr. Ray Keller, another very good speaker. I've heard him speak. Eric Altman, another good speaker. We got Bear and the Night Stalkers coming. That's Bear and Billy and Tanya and the whole rest of the Night Stalker crew. Then we have Ron Lanham and Joe Perdue. And I think we have one other speaker, and I think his name, what is his name again? Ron Murphy. Okay. I'm teasing Ron. Okay. Anyways, that's the starting lineup there. That's going to be another good one. April 29th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. Okay. For more information, you can also call him at 304 619 4155. Okay. Or you could click your camera on the QR code, I guess, and that'll pull it up too. That's in Richwood, West Virginia. It's I don't know. It's kind of like in the middle of the state. So it's kind of easy, to get you from Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, Kentucky. So, it's kind of like that, that pretty good location where everybody can get to within that state radius. So if you're out and about, man, stop on by. That's going to be a good one. April 28th, 29th, and 30th. Okay. All righty. Let me get that off of there, and I'm going to bring Dennis on. And I've had him backstage for way, way, way too long. And here's my brother.
Okay, how much money do you need there, William?
Oh, you have no idea. It's gonna the serpentine belt. The serpentine belt alone is like, well, it's $50 plus tax. So you figure with taxes in Virginia and local tax, it's going to be about $60. Then you got to get the belt tensioner and the small belt for the belt tensioner that goes from the air conditioner to the tensioner, or to the sprocket on the tensioner. And that's another $50 plus tax. So right there's $120 altogether for that. And then I got front brakes I got to get on the truck. That's another $100. I mean, it just adds up and adds up and adds up, and I ain't got it. So
that's not even counting the labor, right?
Exactly. So
I think the standard garage labor right now is not less, maybe over $100 an hour now. Just about. It's ridiculous. Everything is going up now outside. Everything.
It's just and it's getting harder and harder to actually get by. I
saw a cartoon where the Easter Bunny was coming out of a armored car, and he had guards, and a man and a woman stand there, and the woman says, "See, honey, I told you how much eggs were costing nowadays."
That's a good one.
That's it.
Yeah, that's a very good one. I want to do a few before we started, if you don't mind, Dennis.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Primal Cry, good to see you. Joey Z is in the house. All right. And we got, of course, Parapost Network again. We've got Steven. Good to see you, Steven. We got my lovely wife, Tracy.
Tracy?
Here's one I haven't. Here's one I haven't seen in a while. Margie O. Good morning, Margie O. Haven't seen her in a while on here. Good morning, Shannon. Good morning. Okay, let's see. There we go. We got, and I always screw this up because I can't say it so quick. I got to do it nice and slow. BD Warrior.
There you go.
I always go
carefully. Carefully, yeah.
I always go BDD, and it's BBD. Morning, Werewolf. Good to see you on here. All right. And Scott, good to see you too, my brother. Okay, who else we got in the house? We got Ozzy Sue in the house. Boy, she's burning that midnight oil. Well, actually, it's probably about 1 o'clock in the morning oil right now. I'm not sure. And let's see, we have Darcy. Good morning, Darcy.
Hey, Darcy.
Let's see, we have. Let's see, how many others we got? I think that is it. If I missed somebody, I am sorry. Uh-oh, the boss is going for his morning walk.
Oh, okay. My dog
Yeah, he's
Stack is
going
still
pretty.
sleeping in there. He's still sawing logs right now. He's not a morning dog. Uh,
Hmm.
neither am
Look at
I.
that. See, I was pretty close. I said it was about 1 a.m. there. And Ozzy Sue says it's
Uh,
12:25 a.m.
ah,
It's
okay.
12:25 a.m. Yeah, she's living in the future. So
Tomorrow. Yeah.
anybody want to know the lottery numbers? Go ahead and get a hold of Ozzy Sue, and she'll tell you what the
Yeah.
lottery numbers are for
Yeah.
today. Okay, so
It's a good plan. Sounds like a good
uh,
plan.
yeah, I came up with an idea to help promote the channel and help get everybody connected and everything. And I thought about doing a sticker with Jacob on it, and then
Uh,
I started thinking, well, why don't I just like do like a card or even like a postcard
uh-huh.
with his paw print for a signature on it. This is
Ah,
this is an idea that I actually gave a friend of ours that we watch on YouTube called Campulence Man. He's a
uh-huh.
guy that lives in his, well, he doesn't, well, yeah, I guess he does live in his ambulance that he redid into a camper. Really nice, really nice setup. But he lives with his dog called Lefty. And, it's a really good podcast. And I let him know that that's probably, a good thing to do to promote, his podcast.
Yeah,
And, I started thinking, well, why couldn't I use that idea, So,
yeah.
so
Well,
we'll
yeah, you
see.
have something like weirdo warrior dogs, or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And have a little paw print. Maybe
Yeah. Weirdo Warrior Watchdog.
superimposed over sergeant stripes or something. A weirdo
Yeah.
warrior dog. I
Yeah.
like that. That'd
Weirdo
be neat.
Warrior Watchdog. Weirdo Warrior Watchdog.
There you go.
Yeah. But
We're
anyways,
just, we're brainstorming this morning.
I know we got people in the chat wanting to get down to business and the nitty gritty. Um, Last night we kind of left it kind of open ended. Um, and I wanted to basically get back into it with the whole possible connection thing.
Uh-huh.
Um, you know how we talk about lightning and power and energy being inside traveling water and how everything has life and life is energy. Um,
Uh-huh.
to me, I thought about it last night as I sat up and I do a lot of contemplating late at night. I don't know why. But I was thinking, it sounds an awful lot like the theory of the Matrix. With when you incorporate all the energy and all the connections to everything, almost like it's a video game kind of playing out, and that we are just solely avatars. Um, and basically everything that we see is basically an avatar, trees, animals, and whatnot. But we are connected through the energy matrix of the whole thing. um,
Well,
I don't know.
uh, there's two. We've got to look at different kinds of energy. Uh, energy is not just energy. I think different. I think you have spiritual energy, which is sort of a supernatural type thing. And it's different than natural energy, which would be like lightning or atomic energy would be considered natural. So you've got different equations of stuff going on here.
Right.
And when you talk about spiritual energy, which would be my favorite, more so than natural energy. Of course, I wouldn't want to get hit by a bolt of lightning either. But when you talk about spiritual energy, you're talking about some really freaky stuff because it can transmogrify. That's a long term to go with, but that simply means it can change from one existence to another. That's what interests me. That fascinates me, and that would be the makeup of the matrix itself. Would be almost like a spiritual type of an energy because it changes from moment to moment. Natural
Right.
energy Natural energy can take different forms and it can change, but not along the lines of like we were talking earlier about shapeshifters and all this stuff. You're not talking along the same lines. So you got to look at energy that way. And like that quote I made last night, what Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, you must think in terms of what? Energy, frequency, and vibration.
Vibration. Yeah.
Now,
Well,
vibration
then,
is an interesting thing to me, William. I want to tell you something about vibration. And that's been supposedly around the portal activity. It's been noted not just in portal activity, but also in other types supernatural or paranormal activities. Even I've had people tell me that the sightings of ghosts have come with a vibration like in the air, a hum like that. What do you think about that?
that was the connection I was going to make. When we discussed vibration, and all that, and energy, and the supernatural, I almost think that the supernatural is vibration. That when you get a feeling, when you get that tingling down your spine, that's a supernatural telling you something is going to happen. Okay. I believe that the vibration can be classified as supernatural. Okay. Whereas energy is like an electrification of something, kind of like that that burst, that connection to things, whether it's water to earth to animal and all that. It's that electric connection, that electrified connection.
Well, I was one time, William. I was very close proximity to a lightning strike, and I felt that same thing. I felt that vibration and that tingling, that you're talking about. So even natural energy has an attribute for that,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. I just think it's more of a supernatural connection to vibration than anything, because when you're talking about using vibration to open portals and stuff, and you meditate and you try to increase your body's vibrational impulses, to,
Output,
to
yeah.
open the portals and stuff, or to see into other realms and all that, or
Mhm.
to just ground yourself out, and to get that next level of dimension up. um we're using that, kind of a supernatural way of doing it, to achieve vibrational,
Well,
increase.
last night when I talked about the book, written by John Keel, Jadu, where he actually talked with some of the monks, in Tibet. And he asked them, how did they know when he got there? And like I say, there was no telegraph, there was no telephone, nothing like that back then. This was back in the 50s. And he said, how did you know my name? And they said, here's what we do. We see it and we look outward with our spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Our outlook goes outward. And he said, we searched for you and found, we knew there was that connection we were talking about. They said, we connected with what you were doing, why you were coming here, who you were. We could see that. They tried to get him to understand what they were talking about here. And that's what you're talking about. They kind of connected to that vibration or that energy or whatever, and it opened that knowledge to them. He said that this is an interesting thing that monk told him. Okay, listen to this. That I saw you walking along the path on your way here miles away. miles
Yep.
away.
Yep. Yep. And there's Wachashawakans out there, holy men, medicine men, from all kinds of indigenous cultures that'll tell you the same thing, that they expected you, that they saw you walking, they saw you stumble over that root coming out of the ground,
Yeah.
and fall to your knees, you know, and then you stand there in amazement and you think to yourself, um, how does this, person know this? Well, it's because we are in tune to so much in this vast, vast universe, um, that we have that capability, that foresight to use to see things.
Some
A lot of people,
cultures call it the third eye. You
yeah,
know,
yep, exactly,
the ability to see what cannot be seen. And that's prevalent in just about every culture in the world. I mentioned
Yep.
that before about the call born, the ones born with a call over their face. Supposedly, that's a European type, but yet, the Native Americans have that same attribute about being able to see what others can't see. That's what makes medicine men. That's what makes shaman. That's one attribute to that third eye. That being able to look outward. Uh,
Yep. And
that's
and
interesting.
you can actually train yourself to open up that third eye too. And there's a lot of people out there have theories that opening that third eye will make you see demons, and all that. And that's, it's not an evil thing to have that third eye ability. It's actually just you can call it your heightened sense. It's your added sense. Okay, your third eye is that feeling, that tingling you get on your spine when you got the feeling that something is watching you. Okay, that's your third eye. It's just not developed. Okay, it's not developed to the point where you can utilize it more proficiently. Ooh, that's a big word for me this morning. Proficiently.
Sometimes it naturally happens. You're not trying to do it. Sometimes it'll just happen. We call those instances of clairvoyance and stuff. But won't be planning on it. But I think what sets the shaman aside is he has trained himself
Right.
to utilize this, whereas then some people don't. And that's what I've said earlier, and I've said so many times about people disregarding their spiritual nature, the spiritual side of this whole universe. Don't do that. It's stupid because that's a big part of what we all are and what is all around us. We tend to disregard it.
Yep. Primal Cry is right. Primal Cry is absolutely right.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
once you open yourself up to it, and you accept that it actually is a fact that you can have that third eye ability. Once you open yourself up to it and you confirm that fact, you are able to start to do things and feel things, see things. Just
And what about this? And what about this? Okay, that keeps the evil eye out. Remember the evil eye? The evil eye is sort of working in reverse of that. It's
right.
sending forth bad vibes. It's sending forth some bad stuff. Um, but that's part of it.
Right.
We have to be careful how we utilize what we're doing. We have to be careful with it. It's just like you don't play with a loaded gun because it's liable to go off on you. The same thing with that. You got to be very careful how you utilize it, what you utilize it for. And here's another thing, like we said last night, and I think we both came to agreement on that. It's a gift, but if you don't use your gift, it atrophies. You know, a gift is like a muscle. If you don't use your muscles, sooner or later your muscles go away. You can't use them anymore. So if you have that kind of a gift, if you have that kind of an insight in something, you need to use it. You need to work on it.
Right. All right. Yep, that is true. That is true. BBD. BBD. I want to, yeah. Oh, man.
That
I got
could
to get
go
my
a
tongue
bad
fixed.
way if you're not careful there.
Yeah. I got to get my tongue fixed, brother. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
don't mean to mutilate your name. But I want to say
That's what that old man once told me with. But sometimes my tongue and my brain have a problem communicating.
yeah. Yeah.
That's the way it
Well,
goes.
it's still early for me, so and I've
Mm.
only had this my second cup of coffee, and I'm only that far through it. So, bear with me.
Uh,
Please be gentle this morning.
the pineal
Anyways,
gland the pineal gland is interesting. Certainly it helps with connection. It may have a little bit, but I think a lot of this is how you set your mind. It's your mindset on how your way of thinking and your way of looking at things. It's got a lot to do with opening these things up to you as well.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, yes. There's and it's not just you all wonder, how do I want to say this? I'm always trying to be, whether it looks like it on the outside, okay, whatever you see on the shell doesn't necessarily produce the visual of what's on the inside, okay. um what I'm trying to say is, you sometimes you may see an old broken man, okay, or a woman, okay, um on the outside, but on the inside they could be that 20-year-old warrior with that energy that has a capability of doing far more than what the physical shell can do.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the spirit. That's the spirit. That's the spirit, William. The spirit.
And
But the Bible says the spirit is willing, but the body is weak. Um,
yeah,
Sometimes the spirit can go beyond that. The spirit is what drives the body. You know.
exactly. And that's the point where I think once we all achieve that certain capability within us, um, our prayers to our God intensifies and becomes more real. Our love and commitment to others becomes more real. Our outlook at things becomes more absorbent and real. We can achieve um, higher goals per se if we achieve that at that point in
And William, look at what Jesus said about God, the Creator. God, He said He is the Spirit. Therefore, He must be worshipped with what? The
yeah,
Spirit. That's
spirit.
a very that's a very strong spiritual statement there. You know.
Yep, that is true. That is true. There is so much that, and the more we improve that third eye state, that inner being, that inner spiritual essence, that that chi, that energy that's inside us, the vibration, the more we improve it, the more
Mhm.
light is going to overcome darkness, the more how do I want to say this, the more
The
Oh,
positive, the more positive, the more positive attributes will
yeah,
take
yeah,
hold over the
yeah.
negative. Yeah, yeah.
And the more, and the other factor too is the more our our descendants will change for the better. The more positive our body is, and the more positive our heart and our brain and our third eye are all combined together with that energy, that chi or that vibration, and the more positive we put out,
It's
the
got,
more
it's got,
our descendants are going to change for the better.
it's got the balance. It's all got the balance right. And I've said this many times before. If you're not mentally or physically or emotionally or spiritually all balanced out at the right time, then you can achieve more. But if something's out of balance, you need to work on that. You know,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
I think that's a very distinct spiritual concept that people
Well, think of
ignore.
it this way. Think of it this way, Dennis. Think of it this way, okay? And everybody in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? If our energy, our chi, our vibration, was not meant to be up here and not down here, then why, when we leave this tired old frame of a body, say like a near-death experience, people talk about having that feeling of freedom, of just being able to do anything again, and not having to worry about anything, and embracing the light, and coming back and sharing that, when we leave this shell, when we leave this avatar, whatever you want to call it, avatar, shell, body, I don't care what you call it, flesh suit, um, you know, we're gonna be up here. We're not going to be stuck down here
Well,
forever. So the
we've
one
all
thing,
we've already, William, seen an example of that. Okay, since this is the Easter season, this is a very important time to look at this. Okay, because
with the
it's very
rising of Christ,
obvious.
yeah,
Exactly, the resurrection of Christ. He didn't come back. Don't you remember? He told him, "I'm not a ghost.
yeah,
Does a ghost have flesh and blood?" But he had ascended to a higher level of existence. He had a new body that was incorruptible. What
exactly,
you're looking at, it wasn't just a spirit floating around here. You know what I'm saying? That's a
exactly,
very bold concept there, and we have to look at it that way. He ascended to a higher plane of existence, and so will we one day. We're not
yep.
going to be ghosts floating around on a cloud playing a harp here, okay? I hate to break it to you, but we're not.
And yeah, that's what I'm trying to instill upon everybody today, in the chat, all of our extended family across the world. um there is so much to be said about our internal makeup. Scientists are still trying to figure out what kind of a computer we have for a brain. Scientists are still trying to figure out how the heart pumps, you know, and works in conjunction with the brain when, we're a makeup, we're a mystery, okay? From head to toe, we're a complete mystery, and I say, why not just let that mystery roll? Why not roll with that mystery? Why not just focus on this
That's
the internal
that's my
makeup of us?
that's my personal motto, William. Omne exuit in mysterium.
Mm,
All things end in mystery.
exactly. Yep.
You know, yeah. And we are the biggest mystery of all, really, in many ways. We
Yep.
really are. You nail that. That's true because um, we are the fundamental mystery of this
Mm-hmm.
of this universe. Definitely, I think we
Yep.
were made to be that to a certain extent. That is our fate. That is our destiny. That's our makeup. That's part of what we are.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound, like I'm getting self-righteous, because believe me, I'm not. But we all have that capability. We all have such a capability within us that once we open that third eye ability and have that connection to everything, and our vibration is increasing and increasing and increasing over time,
And like we
miracles are
said
going to.
last night, William, like we said last night, so very true. And what you're talking about right now is everything is connected. It's got a
Yeah,
connection, okay? And if you tap into that connection, you can get some interesting things done, I think, you know?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Werewolf says that I died about a minute in 2013, where I was beautiful, peaceful. I had no pain. I did not want to come back. Yeah, that's the same with me, but I must have things to do. Yes. And
Well, that werewolf is what we call fate, our destiny. When we need to complete whatever our destiny is, I think that's got a big part of it. I've heard that so many times that people had near death experiences. Well, I was told I had to come back. I wasn't done yet, or I had things I had to do. That's part of our destiny, that we got to fulfill.
yeah,
Okay, and then
yeah,
that's the way it goes.
yeah, exactly. We have, and I don't think I think part of the reason that we do come back, that God, the Creator, and His minions, the angels or whatever you want to call them. I think the whole purpose of us coming back too is maybe they want us to work on our vibration and our frequency more, to increase it, to be at an elevated level, to when we do ascend into the eternal life, after this one, that we ascend at a higher being, a higher presence, that we can
Right.
function better. So, you know, and if we can do that, going to the spirit world, okay, and all the realms, and have the ability to open up our own portals and all that, then we have that ability here in this flesh suit. We have that ability to do that within this old tired shell of a body. Okay, it's like seeing that old man laying on the sidewalk in the dirty clothes and the long beard, and he's got his hands out, and he's begging for money. Okay, um, and you put the change in the palm of his hands, and his eyes open up, and his eyes look like the eyes of a 20-year-old, because you
Mm-hmm.
did something to improve his vibration. You did something to improve his situation. You did something to prove that there is a connection, that everything is connected, that you are connected to that poor man on the sidewalk, that you are connected to that woman that has two children that is homeless living in the car, you know, that you are that person standing in the soup line. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? I mean, you see where I'm going with this?
Oh yeah,
Everything, everything
everything
is
is
connected.
connected. Yeah, and
Exactly.
if you understand that connection and you tap into it, then you can see some of these things. You can understand these things a whole lot more
Yeah,
because you're part of the
exactly.
connection.
Yeah, exactly. And when I crossed over after a car accident, I was given a choice to stay there or come back. Yeah, see,
Okay,
now
maybe
sometimes
here, here
some,
here's the thing, Karen. The Creator knew you weren't finished yet. You weren't done yet with whatever it is you need to achieve. You know.
yeah. And see, this is a connection that a lot of us have. Okay, Dennis has had near death experiences. I have had several near death experiences. Karen has had near death experiences. Ozzy Sue has had near death experience. This is a connection that we all kind of have. Um,
Mm-hmm.
my wife Tracy, she has had whether she believes it or not, I don't know if she's actually thought about it this way. But when she was younger, she was put inside an oxygen tent, and I believe that maybe she developed her special abilities from that experience, that maybe that was such a close experience to being near death that she had that heightened ability now.
Well,
So
that's an interesting thing, William. Your experiences, like what you just mentioned about all of us, the different experiences we've had, gives us a little tap into that connection because of what we have experienced and what we know. So a
yeah,
lot of this is the mind, the mental set of what you look at. And it's like we
exactly.
said at the beginning of this broadcast with the monks in Tibet, he was trying to get that across. It's we put our mind to it. We look outward. You know, we go
Yep.
outward. We move outward with what? That's the spirit, the mental part of that goes out with it. And that's what he was trying to get across, I think. And you're
Yeah.
right. We have all had this experience, and it has changed us, but it has given us a different perspective than what other people have.
Exactly. Exactly. I just, it's, you know, it's such a connection. And a lot of people wonder, well, because I saw it in the chat last night. A lot of people wonder why I do certain things. Okay. And like with my drinking coffee constantly, and it is constantly, I drink coffee. It's, it's unusual for me to go a couple hours without a cup of coffee. And Tracy can tell you herself, she's seen it firsthand. um, so the caffeine in the coffee, the heat of the coffee keeps me. It's my elixir of life. Literally, it is. The coffee helps me breathe. It helps me, function,
That's a good
digest.
thing. That's
The
a
whole
good
nine
thing.
yards.
It's
But
like
it
Martha
also,
Stewart always. Martha Stewart always. It's a good thing. If it's a good thing, it's worth doing.
there's also a spiritual connection to me and that coffee. To me and that coffee. Okay, there's a spiritual connection. Okay, see, I need to keep my vibration up in order to stay alive in this flesh suit. Okay, I do. Okay, and I've come to realize that. Okay, I've come to realize that there is that connection. In order for me to stay alive, I need that connection. Okay, I need to drink that coffee. Okay, because that coffee will give me the not only the energy that I need, but
The
it'll help
strength.
me. It'll give me that strength. It'll give me that overall. It's like hooking myself up to a battery charger. Okay,
Mhm. Right, right, right.
and letting the charge go through my
Well,
body. Okay.
it's good. It's good that you know that, William, because some people don't. Some people, they don't understand their connection they have with things, and it's detrimental to them. Not only their mental and spiritual capability, but their physical as well. So it's a good thing you know
Right.
that, recognize it, and move on it. You know.
Yeah, and that's the whole. And wanted to clear that up because I noticed in the chat last night a lot of people are like, oh, he drinks coffee a lot and da 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 da. Well, you know, and yes, I put sugar in my coffee. Okay, I have to. Okay, until I find a substitute, and I'm going through and checking substitutes already with the sugar thing. Okay, so don't get all the
Yeah.
diabetes on me because I don't have diabetes. Okay, thank God I don't. That's one thing I don't have is diabetes.
Uh,
But
I'm glad.
as far as the sugar thing goes, I'm trying other things. Like the other day, Tracy had gotten coconut milk because she made this awesome salmon. Oh my God. You people in the chat, you need to talk to Tracy about the salmon she made the other day. I'm telling you right now, it'll be the best meal you've ever had. Okay. I'm far and above anything. Okay. Anyways, she used coconut milk in it. And so I put that coconut milk in my coffee, and I didn't add any sugar.
Right.
Okay. And I actually I stirred it up real good, and drank it, and I took a sip of it, and I'm like, this is pretty good. You know,
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
it's not as sweet tasting as what I'm used to, but
yeah,
it was still sweet. It was still sweet.
without the sugar, without
Right.
the sugar content. Yeah.
So there are other things I'm trying. Every now and then I'll put honey in it. You know, every now and then I'll try brown sugar or raw sugar. Sometimes I'll use you know, if there's stevia around, I'll try stevia. You know, so
But that's
there's
like people with milk. Now, I don't drink milk myself much. I mean, occasionally, once in a while, maybe. But a lot of people experimenting with almond milk and different types of milk. You know, uh,
right. Yeah. But
you don't
see,
know till you
that's
try.
the whole my whole purpose. Yeah, my whole purpose of talking about this little bit with my coffee is it keeps me at that frequency level I need to be at. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
need to be up here all the time while my body is way down. While my flesh suit is way down here to the floor. Okay,
Yeah.
otherwise, I don't think I would be here. Okay, and
No,
it's not because my creator doesn't want me here. Okay, it's not because my God doesn't want to have me in heaven or have me here. It's because I choose to stay here because
exactly.
I
You
know that
have
there
that
is more work that
will,
needs to be done.
the willpower. Yeah. Let me
Yeah.
answer Aussie Stu there. About that. I'm gonna tell you something, Aussie Stu. Doctors, you gotta remember something about doctors, and I've been around them all my life. I worked at a hospital for over 30 years. Okay. I've been around the medical profession a long, long time. I know its ins and outs. Now, let me say this about doctors, okay? You must remember one very important thing. They are human beings. They make mistakes. They put their pants on one leg at a time every morning. I mean, they're the same thing we are. They just have a little more knowledge, okay? And they have the authority
Yeah.
that goes with that. But they make mistakes. I know a lot of people walking around right now out there that was not supposed to be still alive. Uh, they should have been dead long ago, but yet doctors make mistakes. You can't trust everything doctors say, okay? You got to take it with a big box of salt.
Right. Right. Yeah, Brandy says it good here, you know. That's true. You know, and that's me. That's me throughout the whole day. Like I said, and if I don't have it, I can feel my vibrations a little lower. My energy is a lot lower. My focus is not as my focus abilities are not as they should be
I,
without it.
I,
So
I
you
like
know
my
it.
caffeine. I like my caffeine cold.
Right.
Uh,
So that
but
there is
whatever does it for you, that's the good
yeah.
thing. Whatever does it for
You've got to keep your vibration um at a certain level. Okay. When we achieve the basically when we achieve the fifth dimension vibrational frequencies, um, is when we start to achieve things. It's like I said in the beginning here of this podcast. We get to the point where we have the extra sense, the extra sense of the third eye. Okay, the extra sense that when our eyes are closed, we can see through our third eye
you.
like everything. You know, like literally everything. Okay,
It's
it's
William, it's very much like Star Wars. Don't you remember when he was getting ready to target? He was going to get ready to shit, and you hear that voice Obi-Wan Kenobi says, "Let go, Luke. Let the Force. Let yourself feel this." And he turns his targeting computer off. Remember that? Because he had that faith in what he was going to do here. What he was going to move with. But there's one thing we need to stress here, okay? When you reach out this way, there's a good way and a bad way to do this, the wrong way. So you want to do it the right way. You don't want to use drugs, mind expanding drugs and stuff like that. You want to do this the right way, the more positive way about it. this attribute that we're talking about. Because there is like everything else in this world, you can do it the wrong way too, and you can screw yourself up. So you have to be very careful, how you do this. But it is part of that. It's just like the Force in Star Wars. That's what we're talking about here. It reaches out beyond you. If you do it the right way.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Good.
Yeah. It's yeah. That is good. That is good. It's the one thing that we need to practice on as human beings, is that vibration, that inner energy that we feel, that connects us to the supernatural and the paranormal, and that is the key. That is the key to the keyhole. You got to picture us as like the skeleton key, and the universe being the lock on the door. Okay. And we're trying to shape that skeleton key, every little bit of it, every fabric of its makeup. We're trying to shape it into the form that we need to slide in the keyhole and turn and unlock the door to the universe. That's exactly what we're doing. That's exactly why we're meant to do what we do. We're meant to experience things, okay? Be it good or be it bad, okay? We are meant to experience things.
That's what Tesla meant when he said the secrets of the universe.
Yeah, exactly. And I think once we realize that our makeup has that ability that third eye, and we're able to do things and see things more clearly, I think the more things are going to open up to us in the universe. And I think we've all have been there and experienced that, that have achieved that certain ability. Now the connection to it with the paranormal and the supernatural is a fascinating thing. What do we depict? Oh, that looks fantastic. Oh, Tracy's teasing me right now.
I'm making the noodles. So take the pan.
Make the pan. Tracy's teasing me right now. She's teasing me right now, Dennis. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm coming up. Hold on, I'm coming. Okay.
Oh yeah, you got to experience their cooking. Her cooking's phenomenal. Yeah. If I had the money to start a food truck for her,
you're making me hungry. You're making me hungry, William. Anyway, it's a good thing I don't live next door. Okay, that's all I can tell you.
Oh man, that smell is just now. The smells in the studio here, in the podcast room. Oh man, now I am hungry. Anyways, but
you know what? What I was gonna say is that connection. Listen, what we're talking about is physical here to a certain extent, but a great deal of it is spiritual. That's where you get that. Yeah.
Yeah. The connection to the paranormal.
The connection of the spiritual and the physical is where this boundary lies. That we can open these things up. Yeah.
Now, a lot of people call that boundary the veil. A lot of people call, and it's said to be, so many people that say, oh, the veil is thin, the veil is torn, the veil has always been that way. Yeah. The veil has always been that way, though. The only thing that's changed, the only thing that's changed is you.
Right.
You've changed.
And how you approach it. How you approach it.
Yeah.
How your approach is with it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Recognizing it. Yeah. Recognizing it, and
How can you believe? How can you deal with something? And here's where science gets me. Okay, how can you deal with the spiritual when, if you're like science, you don't even believe it exists? You know?
Yeah, true. True. I'm out in the sun all day, barefoot, walking with that. So she's
There's
got
your connection.
Margie has, yeah, Margie has that connection. Margie's experiencing. She's out there. She's connecting. She's and hopefully, Margie, you're curling your toes up into the soil and feeling it between your toes and experiencing that, because
Connection.
that is, yeah, that connection is vital. But yeah, that's awesome that she's out doing that.
And
Yeah.
I think, William, that our spiritual self seeks that connection. I think our spiritual side is always seeking that connection to the energy of the earth, the environment around us, the very things that are part of the energy of this universe. We're always saying, energy is attracted to energy. Energy looks
Right.
for energy all the time. You know?
Yep. And what does negative do? Negative doesn't attract it at all. Negative repels. So,
Exactly.
the more negative you are, and the more negative energy you're putting out, the more you're going to repel what you're supposed to absorb. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I talk about in my book. We've always said, I mentioned this in my book, The Road Unseen. You always talk about opposites attract. That's only in love, okay? Not in the universe. They don't work that way. You the positive and the negative. They don't. You got to understand that concept. That's what you're talking about.
Yep. See, Aussie Sue does it too. Aussie Sue does that too. She's making that connection every day. Yeah, she's making that connection every day, and that helps us. That helps us stay focused. That helps us stay positive. That helps us stay at a point in our flesh suit, our shell, our avatar, that helps us stay on a course that we're supposed to stay on.
That's what I talked about earlier. There's that balance that we seek.
I'm trying to avoid the eyes, because every time I'm in the center of the eyes, it looks like I've got horns.
I got two horns then. Okay, that's okay.
So I'm trying to avoid the eyes.
That is a cosmic looking wolf. I like that though. That's neat. It's cosmic looking.
Yeah.
It's like it's up in the sky or something. It's neat.
Yeah, and
that's my animal, the wolf.
Wait till you see my background for the End of the Red Rabbit Hole. I've got my temporary background up for that, but not the permanent one. But I got the temporary one up, so I'm still working on
I'm interested to see that. I'm interested to see that, definitely.
Yeah, I'm still working on the permanent one, but the temporary one I've got up. The temporary one is really cool. I like it. So.
I like what that cartoon said. The psychiatrist has got her on the couch, and said, just how deep was that rabbit hole? Very deep, very deep. Yeah. So the rabbit hole can get deep sometimes.
Yeah.
Why do you stop the becoming one?
Alice in the rabbit hole.
Because it's not in the red rabbit hole.
Oh, you can only use it for that.
That's what I got it for.
So what's for the breakfast thing?
Whatever I want.
Okay. We have to get through one.
Hey, my producers asking me why I didn't change the background out and use the red rabbit hole one. But it's for the red rabbit hole specifically. That's why I got it. So
different background for different shows. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I got the feeling something's behind me.
The wolf is watching.
Anyways, hope Joe's not getting sick of my voice. All right.
That's good. That kind of also it kind of gives you that child attribute too. We don't want to lose that even in our adulthood. That's good.
I'm just kind of reading. Some of these are very interesting.
I've heard that.
Months
I've heard
of
that the veil has a rent in it, and that things are coming through they shouldn't, which might account for a lot of paranormal activity in the world. A lot of these strange sightings
Right.
and stuff that people say. Wouldn't surprise me a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. The veil is, the veil has always been thin, and whether you call it the veil or the dimensional wall or the timeline, screen, it's always been fragile.
It's
And
thinner. It's thinner at certain times of the year too. There's certain times when it's very added thinness. Yeah.
Yep. A lot of the solstice times of the years, especially Halloween, the Samhain.
Walpurgis Night. We're coming up on that pretty soon. That'll be the last day of this month. Walpurgis Night. One of the most evil nights of the year, by the way. And it's supposed to be one of the veil that's thinnest.
Yep. So remember to do what Crocodile Dundee did with the dogs. Anyways,
that's an old Aboriginal trick.
Yep. But I bet you a lot of people don't even remember that movie.
They probably don't. That was a good movie, though.
Yep. For washing the backside.
The sequels were not that good, but the first movie was the best.
Yeah.
He was sort of like, I call him the Australian Davy Crockett. That's what he was. That's what he was. He was an original.
Paul Hogan. Yeah, good old Paul Hogan. Anyway,
he had good taste in women too, but that's another story. Well, I have actually thyroid issues too, but it can depend. Thyroids work your glands, kind of a thing, so it can anybody. I'm gonna tell you about anybody that usually has had radiation therapy treatments or anything. It messes with your thyroid too. By the way, I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, I agree, Aussie Sue. I agree that it does help you with relaxing and staying very natural. You're absolutely right. I had Tombstone, whom we all know from being in the chat and being on D.A. Roberts' podcast and on our podcast one time. He sent me a picture of this, and at first you look at it and this thing looks monstrously huge, but it was a spider, and it was in the door handle of a car, and it was this in the door handle of a car, and it was freaking huge. Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, now see, there is something telling you that you need to slow your roll. You need to check your vibration. You need to get back on course, and that won't happen. That's a way of the universe and God making it known to you that you need
and
to
another
slow your
thing,
roll.
William, you need to embrace the cop's #1 rule: observe everything.
Yeah,
Observe everything.
Exactly. Oh, well, let's see here. Let me see here. They say humanity affects the most around and travel in the fog. Yeah, and that's another thing too. I wanted to bring up too. I'm see Karen. You're thinking like me. That's dangerous. Anyways, fog. You remember last year when we talked about the deer being out there screaming and how the fog rolled in and it stopped, and like every time I'd walk towards it, it would kind of like back up from
Recede.
me.
Kind of recede.
Yeah, like it was alive. Okay.
Mhm.
And there was that charge in the air, that electronic feeling of static electricity in the air. And then the deer
That's like
disappeared.
portal
Yeah.
activities. What that sound?
Yeah, I mean, fog is I think another way of piercing the veil. I don't want I don't want to use the word portal because I think we're using the word portal a little too much. Okay, I think the fog, the ability to travel and do things through the fog,
Connected to
is
the veil.
it's a connection of it. It's more like you're not piercing the veil, but you're pushing the veil.
Aside. You got
And you're
pushing it aside.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong on that, and I
Well,
probably am.
let me tell you this: that you have a different environment when the world is kind of heavy with humidity, and there's a thunderstorm. There's more energy in the air, so the different times of environment may have a lot to do with that too. That's another factor that you have to look at.
Right. Yeah. They're. I'm hoping and praying that I don't tend to worry a lot because the Creator always takes care of everything in His time. But you know, with the birthday coming up, I'm just amazed. I'm amazed and I'm humbled that I'm still here to see another birthday. Not to get sidetracked from our conversation, but there's almost a feeling of regret that something is missing. Something is not complete yet.
Something left undone.
Yeah, and trying to focus on getting the word out and talking to people and sharing these thoughts and these experiences, being an experiencer, and all of us being experiencers in the chat, the extended family, the Weirdo Warriors. There's something that's missing, something that I seem to be overlooking, and I get the feeling that once I find that what that is, my body can rest. Yeah.
You'll be finished. You'll be finished. In other words,
Yeah.
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 I think we all have. I think I think I call it God-given missions, so to speak. He wants us to do certain things that only we can accomplish at certain times. Just like you said earlier, the Creator moves when He moves at His time, when it's His time and His control of it. And when we fit in that like a piece in a puzzle, and like you say, I have that feeling too that there's something that needs to be done, and when it's done, it'll be finished. It's kind of hard to explain and put into words that feeling, but I know what you're talking
I
about.
don't know.
It,
I don't know who is sending energy, because I just got hit like I was blindsided with some energy coming at me, to the point where it made my reflexes and my eyes close from that direction. So I don't know who's doing that, but or if it was just a walkthrough. But I experienced stuff like that, and trying to
that could have been your
figure
guardian
out.
angel there, Will. It could have been your guardian angel trying to tell you something.
Smacking
Sometimes
me, you
they pat
mean?
us on the shoulder. Sometimes they pat us on the shoulder when we need it.
Yeah. This time it felt like they went like that to me.
I need
More like
smacking every now and
wake
then
up.
myself. I need a good smack every now and then.
But yeah, it's crazy the way things are, and even in these crazy times, I'm amazed that I totally come. Positive thoughts and prayers always is definitely helping. Yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
Ozzy. So
yeah,
you're right, and I'm
true.
sure Prime Cry can verify that too, and Karen, and Darcy out there in the chat, and Tracy. They all, the more positive thoughts and the more calm you are, the less turmoil. It's like the
That inner
energy
peace.
you're not. Whenever you're not calm and you're negative, and say you're excited or agitated, your energy field goes from being this, okay, like a calm water, okay, to this, which is like a
Yeah.
tornado, okay. That's the difference, okay. So the calmer you are and the more positive you are, the better your life is going to be, okay. The
And
better you're going to
here's
have.
another thing. Let's say this, okay? There are times that are going to come, and they're on the way. Definitely, they're coming. When we're going to need that inner peace, we're going to need that connection, not just with ourselves, but our Creator as well. We're going to need that because, as the Bible says, that peace that passes all understanding. That's what we need to seek in our lives. We need to seek that inner peace.
Yeah. Yeah. Steven says it's the angel telling me it's time for my next cup of coffee.
Oh, by the way, Stephen, if your guardian angel, sometimes your wife steps in for them. They smack you, but that's another story.
Yeah. Yeah, they keep you in check. They definitely do. But that's the way it's meant to be too, though, because it's called teamwork, and sometimes they're they're where you don't want to go. That Do you ever get dizziness in your head that you can tell someone is rooting around trying to connect? It's happened to me a lot. Yeah. Yes, I do actually, and I get that a lot. I get that a lot when I go out and I'm walking outside with like, say I'm walking down the sidewalk of the small town we live in and all that, and I get that, and where we live, there's high traffic volume, people coming from going from all parts of the country, but I get that a lot. I actually get that so much that there's certain things that you need to filter out, because you don't want it all to come in. You don't want there's going to be some bad things trying to get in with the good, and you want to be able to distinguish the difference between the two, and filter the bad out. So
that's why you got to be very careful. That's why we said earlier, be very careful the right way and the wrong way to do these things. And you're very right, William. You got to keep that negative force out. That's what I'm trying to get in.
Yep, exactly. And the one thing I learned from being in the military too was to stay focused. To stay alert, to stay observant. Your observant skills need to be honed 150%.
Observe everything.
Yeah.
Observe everything.
So you need to be able to react to within a certain time frame. But yeah, I mean, I get that a lot, and sometimes I even get that because who Men in Black, they tend to try to poke around in there. The MK Ultra tries to poke around in there. The military.
William, what you've got to understand, William, that there are around us many negative forces, whatever form they may take, whatever auspices they may use. That's what we've got to constantly stay on guard against. Those negative forces, the demonic, whatever name you want to call them. That's what we've got to watch out. They're our enemies, okay? So we got to be very careful.
Yeah, definitely. I you all hear me talking about the reptilians and the Men in Black and all that. Please understand one thing. The only reason I talk about anything is to figure out things, okay, first off, and to find out the connections and the reasoning for it. And secondly, it exists. Okay, because I'm not gonna discuss anything on this channel that I feel is hypothetical, is questionable to a point where it doesn't exist. Okay, when I tell you all, I talk to spirits, I talk to other entities, elementals, little people. Even the local Bigfoot that go by, they'll let me know that they're there. Mind speaking a lot, okay? Making that connection through that third eye to the universe is what I do on a daily basis. And, it's something that we all have, but it's something that I want you all to know that it is real. This
You must remember, everything we're talking about has a basis in truth. Okay, right. It's not based on lies. It's not based on innuendo. It has a basis in truth. That's where you go. That's where you go from. Yep.
Outside interference with your chi disrupts the inner peace. Yes,
that's true.
That's very true.
Yeah. The negative is always, Karen, the negative is always trying to exert its influence over the positive. The positive don't do that. Positive don't go out trying to exert itself over something. It's the other way around. And it's usually when something forces like that come up against you, they're the bad guys. That's the bad thing about it. The good guys don't do that.
Shannon's right. Yeah.
The enemy
Shannon's
are
right.
abundant. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the negative can take so many different forms. It can be your boss rimming you out for something you didn't do, or you should have done, whatever. It can take many different images. It can take many different roads to get to you, and you got to kind of try not to let it get to you in that inner peace that you need to achieve.
Right. Exactly. And just to make it, and I'm sure, Shannon, you probably can experience this because, of the area of the country you're in. I'm not going to say where you're at, so, that's up to you. But, to be in certain areas of the country where ley lines are prominent, where energy is more abundant, and it affects you too, and you have to be able to regulate. You have to be able to turn it down or turn it up on almost a minute by minute basis, and eventually
That's
you will get to that point.
you are a product of your environment. That includes where you live and what your environment is around you. Oh yeah,
Exactly.
that's very, very strongly agree with that. That's very true. Uh, and it plays a big, big factor in a lot of things.
Yep, it does. It really does. Now, the whole connection to things, the mind speaking thing, with, well, Mothman does it. Mothman does it all the time. Mothman has the ability to mind speak. Bigfoot has the ability to mind speak. Um, I've never had a dog man mind speak to me. Okay, I've never had anything canine mind speak to me other than our own pet, our own four-legged child. So I don't know, if dogmen or whatever werewolves or whatever have that capability. I've only heard growls. Anyways, but as far as Bigfoot and Mothman and all that, I do know that certain entities have that mind speak ability because they have that third eye ability. They have that frequency level that's a 15 plus out of a scale of 1 to 10. They're up here, we're down here. Well, actually, we're down here, and we're trying to get here at the 10 plus range to even have the ability to find out about the 15 plus range, if you know what I mean.
Right.
To be able to communicate, to be able to see things, to be
know
able
things.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, something is really, really disturbing me right now.
Well, it's that negative probably trying to exert itself because you're doing positive there. See, whenever you start trying to think positive, whenever you start doing positive things, the negative doesn't like that, and it will try to disrupt you. Okay, you got to realize that, but you need to be ready and prepared for it. That way, you're one leg up in the saddle, as the cowboys say. You're one leg up in the saddle on it, and there you go.
This is something that I tend to use a lot of in ceremony, and when I do a lot of blessings and stuff. This is pipestone dust. This is very, very sacred pipestone dust, and just like you'll see Catholic priests do the blessing on
With the
Easter
ashes.
or whatever, or with
Yeah.
the ashes. I do that with the pipestone dust when I do ceremony. And I do the pipestone dust, and I'll put it on myself like a cross, and I'll even take it and I'll close my eyes and I'll put it on my eyelids. So I have the ability.
The windows of the soul.
Yeah, so I have the ability to see. Okay. Pipestone dust is very, very sacred. Okay. A lot of people don't know that when we make our pipes, okay, when we make our chanupa, our bowl out of the pipestone, which is catlinite, is the term for it that they give it.
Right.
we try to save as much as the dust and the pieces of pipestone as possible, because that's how sacred it is. It represents the blood of our ancestors. Okay.
Right.
During the biblical time of the flood, and every Aboriginal nation in the world has a flood story.
Oh yeah.
But with my people, our flood story is basically that, when the floods came, those that were able to climb to the highest trees and the highest mountains survived, but those that didn't, their bodies turned to pipestone. Okay. Their bodies turned to pipestone and that's how we have that connection with the chanupa, with the sacred pipe that we use, whether it's your personal pipe or whether it's a ceremonial pipe. That, when we put the two together, connects this world with our ancestors. And when we connect the pipes together, the bowl and the stem together, that's when we have everything we need to communicate and to have our prayers and our messages sent to the Creator. That's the whole purpose of the dust. That, and it's also a way of blessing, like Catholic priest. It's a way of cleansing. It's a way of keeping the negative away from you.
Right.
If you know what I mean. So,
And like I said earlier, when you're doing positive stuff, you're going to encounter the negative. That's just the law of the universe. Okay, that's the way that goes. And whatever, like you say, you're doing, whatever you need to do to get that negativity off of you, you need to do it.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure Shannon can verify this too. That especially where they're at, they probably get that oppressed feeling all the time. And it's been my theory.
Yeah,
It's
a
been my
lot
theory.
of times, Will, I think this is why people get depressed a lot. That negative feeling gets on them and pushes them down, and mutes your emotions and twist you the wrong way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we need to fight against that. Yeah.
We there we go. I got the horns again. They're growing. Anyways, the whole, the way that man, that they're really working on us today, or at least me.
They don't like our message. They don't like our message with it.
Well, the whole shadow government thing, whether you call them the shadow government or whether you call them the military industrial complex, whatever you want to call them, the reptilians, the aliens that are in control, and our governments that are basically not in control, that are being told to do what they do to us on a daily basis. They're the ones that do this. They're the ones that send the negative to us, because they know that we are basically, we are receptors. When we tune ourselves up enough to be receptive to the entire universe, okay, to the entire world around us, to be receptive to what animals think and feel, and receptive to what insects think and feel. Like the other day I talked about the bumblebee and the praying mantis, and how they come and they do talk to me. They come to me, they visit me. You can ask Tracy. I mean, plain and simple, she'll tell you flat out, that this one bumblebee, Buddy, that I've named Buddy, Buddy the Bumblebee. Sounds like a child's book, like a children's book, but he protects us. He guards our front door. He literally guards our front door. He does, he protected Tracy and Jacob the other day while they were sitting outside, and that's the connection I'm talking about, people. That's the connection you need. Okay. Buddy knows that I'm not going to harm him. But he knows that I have nothing but good intentions, that I have nothing but the admiration for his ability that he has to fly and to hover and to find nectar and to build his home, just like
I'll
he
tell you
has that
something.
connection to me. So
I'll tell you something, William. You've seen people with birds that will come light on their hand. Okay.
exactly,
Those
yeah,
people have something special, okay? Because that bird trusts you. It knows that you are somebody different, you know?
yeah,
Well, that's what you're talking about here. That's that connection when it works the right way. But also, what you said earlier is that when you open yourself up to this connection, you must remember that the negative takes the opportunity because you're open, see. And the negative can take an opportunity to come against you, and that's what you need to watch out for. You know, because that's the very nature of the negative. They are opportunists. They never pass up an opportunity. That's what we were talking about earlier.
right.
Definitely.
Exactly. And it's just amazing to me how the so-called powers that control this world, that are trying to that are trying to keep us oppressed and keep us in this world, to be slaves
Enslaved.
in this world. Yeah, to be slaves in this world and not let us get released into the next level and to be with our creator, or step levels up. Man,
They're trying to keep us down spiritually. Definitely.
yeah,
They're trying to
yeah,
keep us down spiritually.
yeah. I just got hit with a headache, big time. Anyways,
That's a reaction
even
to the
Shannon
negative.
says, yeah, Shannon says, strong negativity living here next to the mesa, constantly have to keep spirit up and evil at bay, and that's true, and look where Shannon lives. I mean, that's just, that's
Let me
a
tell you something, William.
paranormal.
Let me tell you something, right? Let me tell you something real quick, William. And I've counseled a lot of people with demonic problems and stuff like that. And they have one question. Most all of them have the same question. Why me? Why are they doing this to me? And I have to say, that's their nature. They attack you. That's what they do. You got to understand that's what they do. Okay? Just like a deer's got to run,
Exactly.
fish's got to swim, bird's got to fly, and the negative has got to attack you. That's just the way it works. You got to
Yeah,
understand that.
exactly. Even Tracy says that her cousin Chris has birds that eat out of his hand.
There you go.
You know,
That's
and that's the ability. That's the ability that I'm talking about. Is having that frequency that you need, that vibration that you need to show that you're nothing but
what you
positive.
put out. Your
Yeah,
positive
and
vibration. Yeah.
they don't want us having that. The powers that be don't want us to
No.
have that. They don't
No,
want us
no,
to
no.
have peace. They don't want us to
No.
have peace of mind, more or less,
I want,
that
let me
ability.
tell you something, William. If you want to destroy somebody completely, how do you do that? You can kill their body, but no, that doesn't work. Okay, Jesus, they found that out with Jesus. They killed him and thought that was it. Okay, they thought, hey,
Yep.
we won. You destroy the spirit. That's what you attack. The spirit is where it's at. And that's what
Yep.
you got to guard your spirit against these things.
Yep. As it says in the Bible, we don't battle basically against princes, but it's principalities that we battle against, and there is something to be said. There's something to be said about being so oppressed by a regime that basically is unknown to us. But I would almost say unequivocally that, whether we call them reptilians, whether we call them men in black, whether we call them shadow government, I would be fair for me to say that they are probably fallen angels.
Mhm.
They are
That's
probably,
basically what they are.
yeah,
And,
they
and let
are
me
the
say
ones.
this. Let me say this, William. Okay, and knowing what I know, okay, possession does not start with possession. Okay, it starts with oppression. Okay,
Right.
that's the different thing. It starts with influence and then oppression, and that leads to possession, which is complete enslavement. That's what that is. Okay, and that's the way the negative works.
Right. And you hit the nail on the head too when you said that it's like that, like with Jesus. They can crucify our body, but they cannot crucify our spirit, our energy, our essence, and
Exactly.
and that's when we're truly going to be alive. That's when we're trying to be alive, is when we that next level. Um, that's I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer, and I don't know if anybody else is in the chat or if you are, Dennis, but I'm a firm believer there is no such thing as death. Okay,
No, no, no.
Then,
One day, William. One
there's
day, one day, you and I and everybody else out there, we're gonna lay down this meat jacket. We're gonna put it down. We're gonna step over into a new existence, a spiritual existence with a brand new body that is incorruptible, that is lasts for eternity. That is what you look forward to, because this meat jacket is only here for a few years, and that's it. Okay, this is just a room. This is just sort of the waiting room for your spirit. This is where the trials are. This is where the tests are. This is where your spirit is sort of put in the fire and made better. That's what the Bible says, being
exactly.
tried by fire. Gold is tried by fire. It gets out all the impurities, takes out all the negative stuff, and comes out pure. That's what you're going to step into one day when you put this meat jacket down.
Yep, exactly. And just knowing that we're gonna have that someday just makes me more at peace. Um, Knowing that the possibility is there for that to be, and I knew there. I mean, I've experienced that feeling already, and
Mm-hmm.
so sorry, I keep hearing something behind me, um, and there is
No death, no
something
fear.
to be
Yeah.
said. Yeah, there's no death, no fear. Um, yeah, and C Duke hits it on the head. And good morning, C Duke. Good to see you on here. Um, hit the nail on the head with this one. Love and energy never dies, and it's yeah. C Duke's
Mm-hmm.
right. Love and energy will never die, and you know, like you said, when we leave this meat suit, this shell, um, this avatar, whatever you want to call it, we live forever, man. You know, and I
Yeah.
don't mean to sound like a hippie, but peace, we live forever, you know.
Yep. That's when
So
we become pure energy, spiritual energy. I think that's what is a big makeup of this universe. Um,
yep,
what we're talking about here today is the basics of spiritual energy. That's what we are. That's our makeup. And if we ignore that, if we don't exercise it, then we've really cut short ourselves. We've really, as the old saying used to be, we've cut our nose off to spite our face. We've really shortchanged ourselves if we don't recognize that.
yeah. Scott says his meat suit is carried 62 years. You're still a youngin. Still a youngin. Anyways, William, I believe our souls keep reincarnating. It never does. Yeah, and I thought about that, and that's a very, very interesting thing. But you do hear stories of people coming back and being
I
reincarnated.
kind of look past. I kind of look past the word reincarnating. I think it's rejuvenating. It's kind of refashioning itself.
But let me ask everybody this, everybody in the chat. I mean, maybe you can answer this for me too. I've always had this question concerning reincarnation. Is it something that we're first off, it's a two-part question, okay? So write it down, guys. First off, in reincarnation, do we have the choice to come back, or are we made to come back? Okay, that's the first question. Okay, the second one is, are we being sent back because we haven't learned everything that we're supposed to learn before we go on to the next level of life, or are we being punished?
Well, my own self personally, I don't believe in reincarnation. I believe that the Word of God says it is appointed unto man once to die, and then the judgment. I don't think you're coming back. That is a concept of the Far East that's, I think, very erroneous in many ways. You're not coming back from that. What we're talking about here earlier today is going on to a new existence in a different way altogether. Why keep coming back with the same old meat jacket on and all this other stuff? Well, you didn't learn your lessons hard. Well, I don't go along with that myself. That's my own personal opinion.
Right. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I think that, but I mean, I'm just putting it out there because there are some people that believe in the reincarnation theory, and I was just wondering what they thought, and that's why I had those questions. Because I personally, I don't know that much about reincarnation. I've never really even considered the possibility of reincarnation, and it is a fascinating concept. It really is.
Well, it's a spiritual concept of trial and error. Trial and error. You keep coming back, and you're supposed to sometimes come back in higher and lower life forms, and you're learning this eternal lesson and all that. That's what it's basically the concept is.
Okay, Darcy says, I believe sometimes we are forced and other times we volunteer as helping others. I believe it is to work out our lessons and is not a punishment. So that's interesting how she thinks it cannot be used as a punishment. Okay. Let's see what Karen says. Karen says you reincarnate with no choice until you become an energetic being of empathy and compassion for all beings. After you reach that point, it is a choice. Okay. So Karen, you believe incarnation, and Darcy, you believe in or is this just the way that or are you just knowledgeable about it? Because it's just, search the world for those. Yeah, that's why they call it enlightenment. And Dennis will tell you too that Freemasonry, it's Freemasonry isn't, I don't care who has a video out there that says Freemasons want to take over the world and they're evil, and they're not. Okay, I'm a 30-degree Mason. Okay. I mean, we don't.
I'm a Knight Templar. I'm a Knight Templar. We don't worship the Baphomet either, by the way.
Exactly. We don't worship the devil. Okay, and everybody has their own choice. in this life to choose who they worship. I'm not saying that. Okay, everybody has their own choice. Okay, including Masons. Okay, so there might be some out there that do that, but the majority of us are just good old God-fearing, loving, caring, compassionate men that care about their community. That's all we are. It's not like we go to meetings and have super secret, let's go and
right now, William, there are Templar Knights in Ukraine trying to save little children and everything. That's not what it's about. You know what? The basics of what the Masons, the Knights, and other ones like that, they're charitable organizations. They're
Right.
clubs and organizations to look out for each other, but also to help people. That's what it's about.
Right. Exactly. And you can't be a Shriner unless you're a Mason. And we all know that the Shriners Children's Hospitals are there to help children for surgeries. So, give me, I'm so sick and tired of hearing about how evil that is, because I'm not evil. Okay. You all know me out there, Joey Z, Darcy, C Duke and everybody. You all know me. I'm not evil. Don't mind the horns. Okay. Don't go by the horns. Okay. Those aren't horns. Those are eyeballs. Those are eyeballs. Okay. Those aren't horns.
The horns
I gotta stop that. Maybe I can make them look like ears. I'll make them look like ears.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Red ears. Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, I mean,
anyway.
I'm just
well,
so tired of hearing about it.
All that stuff got started because people didn't understand what these organizations were, and there was a little secrecy to them, and that's what scares people. Secret organizations always have been that way. And that's why you get rumors and stuff started about things that.
I'm one of the poorest and humblest men you would ever meet. Okay. I'm as I said in the beginning of the podcast, I'm that man that's laying on the sidewalk with his eyes closed. Okay. I'm that man. Okay. That's how humble I am. Okay. I'm that man. I'm no better than that man. I'm no better than the
and you know what the Bible says about that, William? God loves what? A humble heart.
Yeah. I wasn't always that man. Okay. Now, you got to understand that, it took me to a point to get to that point. Okay. It took me a while to get to that point because I wasn't always that man. I was in my younger days. I was a hellion. I mean, I was a hellion. Okay. I was a force to be reckoned with. Okay. And it wasn't good. Okay. So I changed myself. I changed my spiritual makeup. I changed my whatever you want to call it, my chi, my energy, my life force.
Life changes us too, William. Circumstances change us. That's got a lot to do with it too. Yeah. And so, if your life hadn't gone down certain roads, you might be a completely different person than you are right now. You know what I'm saying? I think that's part of our destiny.
That's a big question. So many thoughts. Often my beliefs change due to the life's experiences. Yeah, that is true. That life experiences, which is what we just said. Yeah, that's perfect timing for that to come up. I mean, it's just, you start out this world. You start out in this flesh suit. Okay, this skeleton of a shell of a being, innocent. You're born innocent. You're born not knowing anything. Okay, not knowing how to even survive. Okay, you have to depend on the others that have survived. Yeah, survived before you to take care of you until you're at a point you can take care of yourself. Okay. That's called what? That is called life progression. Okay. That is the physical form of this life progressing, not the spiritual form. Okay. The spiritual form develops through the imagination process of that child. So if you take that child at a very young age, like I was taken, and you teach that child things spiritually, they're going to be more developed and more advanced when they're older. And they're going to be able to do things and experience things on a level that's much higher than another child. Okay.
Their knowledge level is higher. Yeah.
Right. Right. Exactly. So, you go and you do certain things in your life, and then when you get to your teenager age, rebellion age, and you go through that through your young adulthood, thinking you own the world and you're invincible, and you can do this and that and the other thing, and you go through all that, and you learn the bad from that and the good from that and all that, and hopefully more good comes out of that than bad. And then you become that young adult, and the world smacks you square between the eyes.
And you gotta earn a living. You gotta pay bills. You gotta raise kids, and do all this stuff. Life is always moving and shaping you. We're like clay on a potter's wheel.
Exactly. That's a perfect example of it, Dennis. Is a clay on a potter's wheel, and being shaped, and then that saying. I said it the other day to you too, Dennis, when you had that picture of Bigfoot behind you, and I said, you got to be careful because people judge you by the company you keep, and that's true, and that's true to a point. Okay, it's like one of the best books. Hold on a second, I'm going to grab this book, and well, no, it's kind of buried. Let me see if I can get it. This book is probably one of the best books I've ever read. Okay. Well, anyways, it's on the top shelf. I can't get it. It's on the top shelf. But it's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Okay.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. If you can read that book, it's a very good book. It talks about certain aspects of how how you can achieve certain things through certain processes and all that. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and it's a very, very good book. I liked it because it opens up your thought process to other things, and it may even help you in your professional life. I mean, because until we leave this meat suit, we're all slaves. We're all, slavery, and that's the other thing too. That's the other point I wanted to make today too, and while we got a chance. Slavery hasn't died. We're all slaves. That's why they try to control our spirit. That's why they try to keep us oppressed. Okay. Because the more oppressed we are and controllable we are, the less we're apt to rebel against the forces that think that they have a right to rule us. And they don't have a right. They don't have a right to rule us. They don't. Okay.
That's what that's what it says in the book of Genesis. There will be enmity between your seed and the man's seed. He will crush you with his heel. You will bite his heel. So there's that enemy that's there. you know. And yes, they would love to crush us under their heel. That's where they want us. You see,
Exactly.
but when we fight against that, they don't like that. See.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And to that point, what I mean by slavery is you're going and you're working every single day that you can just to earn a living, okay, just to cut an existence out, forced to
That's what
pay these
slavery is,
companies.
William. Slavery
Yeah.
robs you of your most precious commodity. What is that? Time. That's what slavery
Yeah.
robs you of, your time.
Mm-hmm. But even this chart here, okay, these are the slave owners. These are the people the companies that we're paying, that control the consumer goods in our world. In our world, these companies. Just look at this chart. I mean,
It's a slave ring.
I can't get over how many things that are combined on there. That these companies. I mean, no wonder some of these countries don't have running water and plumbing and all
here's
that.
what really disturbs me, William. Let's stop here and pause a moment and think about this. Look at all those companies and how they are now turning to influence over us by pushing certain agendas on us, by trying to manipulate us. They're not just selling us a product. What are they doing? They're deeply enslaving us. They're trying to mind control us. That's what disturbs me greatly.
And think about this too, okay? In order to attack the spirit and to keep the spirit, oppressed, and to keep. Let me sit over here, and to keep us oppressed spiritually. They can attack us through what we drink and what we eat, and what we breathe. Think about it. What we put in our eyes for eye drops can affect us.
Ultimate slavery. Ultimate slavery.
Yeah, I mean, they can control us. It's like this morning. And I don't know if you all know my regiment. Okay, this morning I keep on moving left and right because I don't want the horns. My whole morning routine. Okay, and I'm going to tell you how my morning goes every time I wake up. Okay, I wake up, I put my feet on the floor, and first off, I just thank God that I'm amazed that I'm alive, to see another day. And then I look in front of me, and on the table in front of me sits my pills. Okay, sits my pills that I have to take to survive, because without them, I wouldn't be able to. Okay. I looked at my pills this morning, and I thought about that picture that I put out on a post, with the Matrix, and how they have that cure for cancer and all that, and they don't want you to know that, which is true. Okay, which is true. But I looked at my pills.
Treat. I call it the treat, not cure.
Do you know how many pills I got to take in the morning? I take 12 pills every morning. 12. Just to stay alive. Okay. And I'm not talking little itty bitty, pin-sized pills. I'm talking pills.
Horse pills.
And, then you got to, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm as poor can be. Okay, so it's hard for me to afford these pills. Okay, it is, as with anybody that's up there in age. I don't want to say elderly, but up there in age that's, on Medicare. It's
I
very
think
expensive.
I want to say this, William. I think it's a absolute disgrace that you, a veteran who gave so much for your country, they can't give you your medicine. That's just absolutely ridiculous in my book. I think it's one of the worst things in this world. I mean, after what you've
Well,
done for this country, they couldn't at least give you your medicine, and
there's
help you
yeah,
health wise.
but there's still a cost. There's still a cost
No, I know.
involved.
I'm talking about there should
And
be no cost at all. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
and the thing of it is too is, all the outsourcing that's going on is making it expensive too. Um, because a lot of people in my position, when they get you to a point where you don't have any money, and you have to decide, well, what do I do? Do I literally buy the prescription, or do I use the $50 and
To eat,
$60 or whatever it
eat with.
is to
Yeah.
eat with, or to put in my gas tank to get me to my medical appointment? You know, that's how I live every day. I'm trying to decide that. And,
Yeah.
that's why every day you guys are going to see me post, that I might need help, you know, and, Dennis knows. I mean, Dennis, I mean, you're with your diabetes, it's rough. It is,
Oh
it
yeah.
is really rough. And that is the powers that be trying to
And,
keep us oppressed.
and these diseases, William, are debilitating. To the fact is, we're talking about cost now. We're not talking about health wise. We're talking about debilitating in cost to you, to your lifestyle. You decide today, are you going to have lunch or are you going to have this meal? I mean, that's what we are faced with when we're on these budgets. I call them budgets, whatever name you want to call them. These tight budgets that we're forced to live on. That's real slavery. Okay, trust me.
Right. Right. Scott, Dennis might be discussing that tomorrow night. I don't want to, step on toes.
Uh,
Um,
uh,
but
I'm going to be talking about that on the Demonology Today broadcast tomorrow night at 9 Eastern Standard Time. The Black Magic Connection. We'll talk about that.
yeah, Kevin, good morning to you. That and I don't want to talk about my situation personally, but as far as that goes, you know that's the oppression I'm talking about. Okay, that's the control factor I'm talking about. Okay, so we need to keep our vibration as high as possible. We need to keep ourselves protected as much as possible, because we're getting psychically attacked every second of the day. When we watch TV, when we listen to music, when we see advertisements outside, when we're in around the 5G cell towers, we are being attacked every single second of the day to
And
program.
it is a matter of survival that we must keep these negative forces at bay. It's absolute survival.
Yep. There is something to be said. The whole situation with the way things are going, and you gotta wonder why our government alone was afraid of the 5G network. We know that it's because of China basically being the developers of it. But and they're also, I don't know if they banned TikTok or not. I'm not sure. Does anybody out there know if they banned TikTok from this country yet? I think they did in Australia, didn't they? Aussie Sue.
Yeah, I think it did. I think it did. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if they did this yet, but anyways, well, that's just the way it is, Darcy.
Mhm.
That's just the way it
It's
is.
something a lot of us face every day, but
Yeah.
people don't. They don't want to talk about it. But it's just, it's something that's real. It's very real.
Because some people are too proud to talk about it, and
Yeah.
that's where we fall. Okay, pride cometh before the fall. um you know
Hard
and
ball too.
that's why I picture myself every day. I picture myself as that man laying on the sidewalk with his eyes closed and his hands out. Okay, that's just the way, but I consider that being so humble as a blessing, because I don't want to be that man that has a 150-foot yacht. I don't want to be that man that drives a Lamborghini.
And it only thinks about itself and nobody else. It only loves itself, but has no room in his heart for anything else. That's the one you don't want to be. Definitely.
Everybody says, "Oh, wouldn't you like to be Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg or all that just for a day?" And I think to myself, no. Why would I want to? I don't want their life. I don't even give a rat's ass about their money.
It's good to
Okay.
have money, but it's not good for money to have you.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Money wasn't a concept to my people until the white man came here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I said, the native people, they bartered. They say, "I'll trade you this for that." That's how they do. They didn't have money. They didn't say, "Hey, you're gonna have how
Exactly.
much."
Exactly. And if we wanted it bad enough, we took it. You know? So, that's just the way it was back then. Okay? It was a paradise. Okay? Yes, it was a paradise. It could be a struggle at times, but it was a paradise. Okay?
Yeah, it's a
And
good way to live.
the whole reason, and I'm going to get into another subject here too, before just let me know, Dennis, if you get tired of talking. But I wanted to get into something else, because you all know that I'm a flat earther. Okay, I don't believe we live on a globe. Okay, I really don't. Only because of all the biblical texts and everything that I've found and all the research I've done, and the curvature of the earth and all that. I mean, I don't believe. I think we live on, well, I mean, basically like a pill. Think of the shape of a pill. That's basically what I think we live on. Um, because as above, so below. So, um, but anyways, to make a long story shorter, I think that the way we look at things, I'm just gonna play it. Let me see if I can play it for everybody. Okay, I have a short video. I want everybody to see. Okay, if you would please, bear with me. All to see this. I think this is it. Wait a minute, is it? Yeah, that's got to be it. Okay, it's only about a minute and a half long.
We lost your sound, William.
That ending,
Oh,
yeah, that
there you
ending,
go. Okay.
that ending on that, yeah, that ending on that where it showed the map of the world, and it showed like our world with the Asian continent, the African continent, Antarctica, and all that. It showed all that in the center. Why couldn't that be Eden? Why couldn't that the whole world be the Garden of Eden? And then things branch out from that, like the leaves of a tree. You see what I'm saying? And that's how the
Right.
universe is created. You know what I mean? I've always had that thought, and it's just a thought. It's not,
Yeah.
any theory or anything, but it's just a thought.
That's interesting.
And,
That's interesting.
I mean, if you think about it, because they talk about the tree of life, okay? And if you think about the whole makeup of our world, this physical world, I'm not saying the spiritual world or the supernatural world or the dimensions, okay? I'm talking this physical world that we live in right now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Starts out like our world, the so-called globe. If you take that globe and you make it flat, okay, and you lay it down, and then you branch out from that, okay, other branches and with leaves and stuff in other worlds. Why couldn't our world have been the Garden of Eden? Why couldn't the whole world or the so-called planet be the Garden of Eden? And
Oh, it
the
could have been
seeds
at one
in the
time.
garden, and the seeds of the Garden of Eden venture out from that. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
kind of a representative of the tree of life, which is thought
exactly,
to be a spiritual tree.
exactly,
That's a reflection of a physical reflection of it.
exactly. And that's just a thought that I had. I mean, doesn't mean anything, but it was kind of interesting thinking about that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as I looked at those pills I was taking this morning to get back on that, I had all my pills, lined up and like I do every day. And I looked at them and I said, wait a minute. I thought to myself, wait a minute, look at this. I picked up these two pills, and there in the palm of my hand sat the red pill and the blue pill. Literally.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, 20, 20 some pills in like 8 hours I take, okay? And here's a dozen of them that I take first thing in the morning. And I'm looking at the red pill and the blue pill in my hand, and I'm thinking to myself, is this the Matrix or what? I mean, what is the coincidence of having those pills?
A red and the blue pills.
Yeah, I mean, it struck me as funny, but it also struck me as serious.
Here's what I told somebody the other day, William. Okay, they want us to take the red and the blue pills, but don't drink the Kool-Aid. Okay, that's what they really want us to drink the Kool-Aid. All right.
Yep, I believe that wholeheartedly. So, and I just thought it was interesting. Anyways, it's I'm going to yes, thank you, honey. First, yeah, if you can, please like, heart, and share this.
Thumbs up. Yep.
I'll probably basically do another podcast here soon, sometime coming up in the next week. Getting more into I like these topics of discussion of the spirituality of things, Dennis. I don't know if you do, but I like to open it. Yeah, I'd like to open it up and just try to figure out certain things,
Expound upon it more. The more we expound upon it, the better it is. the more we can understand it, the more it comes home to us. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And as the time on my clock says 2:22:22, I think that's a good time to end it. It's 2 hours and 22 minutes and 22 seconds.
All right.
That's
All right.
a good
I
a
think
good ending.
I think that's a record for us too, by the way.
Yeah. But I want to thank everybody in the chat. It's been great having you guys in the conversation and stuff, and talking to the family. Dennis, it's always a pleasure talking with you.
Same here.
So it's I just felt with it being Easter that this topic was something that we needed to discuss. We need to keep our vibrations up. We need to keep that positive energy going, and be less affected by negative. And hey, it may take somebody like say if Joey Z or whatever was having a bad day, and he needed somebody to send him some positive vibes. It may take C Duke to do it. Yeah. It may take C Duke to do it, or Margie O to do it, or Scott to do it, or Ozzy Sue, or Darcy, we all need that little extra boost every now and then. Okay. And that's the great thing about these chats. Okay. That's the great thing about being able to sit down and talk with everybody. There's the horns again. Oh God. And anyways, I really appreciate everybody being
that's
here.
the funny thing about stuff like that, William. When you see something, you can't unsee it. You always see the horn.
Yeah. I'm just gonna have to sit like this from now on. But I just I really appreciate everybody being here. And if you can, like, heart, and share this out as much as you can. If you can, go to buymeacoffee.com/W Nighthawk 333. If you can, we've got 3 mug designs right now for the Weirdo Warriors on bonfire.com/store/into the red rabbit hole. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, we're on Truth Social, we're on Rumble. We're trying to cover all the bases, and we're trying to talk about the stuff that that some paranormal subjects aren't covered. Okay. And it's something that we need to cover. It's something that we need to discuss, and we need to get out there that everybody knows that
exactly
what to do. Okay. And how to achieve certain things. And I just think it's just a wonderful way of doing it. Okay. And that's why we're taking advantage of this day on Easter. And, we're blessed. Never forget that we are blessed. And we have abilities within us to make us shine so bright that we can blind our enemies with that brightness. And, let's never forget that. Okay. Never, ever forget that. Okay. If you can, like, heart, and share this out. Subscribe. We only have 150 subscribers on our channel on YouTube. At one time we had over 500, but we got canceled by YouTube.
That's happening a lot lately too.
Yeah,
I've heard a lot of people complaining about YouTube doing that. They're doing nothing but pure out censoring people. That's what they're doing.
Well, but, I don't want to focus on the negative with YouTube, because YouTube is still a good platform to use to get the voice out, but you have to be delicate with it. Okay, you have to you know what I mean. You have to
Yeah.
okay, word. And basically, thank you, see Duke. She sees a halo. um, anyways, like heart shared out. Okay. Everybody have a great Easter. We'll see you tomorrow morning. It being Easter, I
We
think we should.
might do a show on Bunny Man tomorrow. What do you think?
Well, I was thinking of the subject of being like like how we did the movie monsters subject the one night. I was thinking maybe tomorrow doing the subject of folklore and legends like the Easter Bunny, Santa
Uh,
Claus,
that'd be neat. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
The
So
myth.
yeah,
Time
the
for some
myths and
myths.
yeah. So maybe we'll get in that tomorrow, okay? And of
All
course
right.
we'll talk about other things. We'll talk
Oh
about other
yeah.
things too, because we always do. So,
You
but
never know. You never know where we're going to end up at. That's the way it
yep,
goes.
exactly. If you can, guys, support the channel as much as you can because it's getting rough. Okay. The censorship is really, really, really hard nowadays, and the equipment's getting old. So, it is what it is, but we learn to work with it and work around it. We try to give you guys the best programming that you can get, and the best subject matter. We love you guys a lot. You guys are our extended family, and you always will be. Even when I'm out of this shell, this flesh suit, you will still be my extended family, and I will watch out over every one of you. Okay. So never forget that. Weirdo Warriors, be strong, be proud, be humble, walk with reverence for everything. Okay. And, we will see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. All right. Happy Easter, everybody.